Hello. Hello. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm going to give people like a second. Yay, early, first in row in the house. Hello from Miami. Hello. Good to see you this morning. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being early. That's exciting for me. I'm going to just hop right to this because folks can watch on a replay anytime. I assume you can hear me and see me at this point. So I'm going to just get to it. Today, I want to talk about end of the year stuff. End of the year, but really transitioning to the new year stuff. Okay. So, what does it really mean to finish the year feeling strong? People really like to talk about what are you going to do to finish, or how are you going to just push through to the end of the year, even if you're already feeling kind of burnt out. And that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is easing into the new year. And here's why. Because it's a little bit of a tricky year for most of the florists that I know, that I talk to, and that I work with one-on-one. There's like a little slump. Not everybody, right? And if you're not experiencing any kind of slump, like good for you. But a lot of people are experiencing a little slowdown. So, what do? We want to ease into the new year without adding more stress to our plates. And a lot of this is around mindset, but also recognizing our limitations. So, one thing that can be really tricky is it's hard to be the CEO in your business if you're always just focused on opening that next flower box, right? What's in the next flower box? What's the next thing? When you're in that mode, it's really hard to zoom out and think bigger, or even to just recognize what kind of rut you might be in. Um, on the other hand, you can also be missing your wins because you're so focused on the next thing that you're not like, hey, wasn't that amazing that we just pulled off that amazing installation, or we booked that great customer we always wanted, that account, we finally got it, right? You miss it because you're focused on opening the next flower box. So I want you to think about closing out this year, thinking about, are you in a CEO mindset, or what would it really take to get you into that space? Because we want to do some full picture planning in our business. I'm big on that. I do a lot of challenges throughout the year and live streams with my Patreon members on, business planning and mindset. So it's something I'm passionate about. But part of why I wanted to talk to you about easing into the end of the year is because we have a limited number of hours in a day, right? State the obvious. But we also have a limited amount of energy every day that we can spend. So I've heard people talk about this a few different ways. And one way that one of my coaches talked about this was he called them energon cubes, right? You have a certain amount of energy cubes in a day. And how are you using them? How are you spending them? So, and how much is left at the end of the day? So, some people are going to have more energy than others. That's just like life. Sometimes your energy is going to be low because you're battling with something, right? You might have a sickness that you're overcoming, or you might have other responsibilities aside from your business that are taking energy from you, right? So we have to be realistic about where we're spending that energy. And the less energy you have, this might be you right now, right? If you're feeling like burnt out, you don't have a lot of energy, you gotta be really judicious about where you're investing your energy. Okay. So, how many units of energy do you have, right? Do you have lots? Do you have little right now? In between? And then how many are you using each day? What do you got left at the end of the day? Are you like, I'm toast at the end of the day. I can't even, make dinner, shower, right? That's no good. So you have to try to get back into balance. And one of the, I think, easiest ways to think about that is, where are you investing your energy? So where is your time and your attention being spent right now? That is where you can start to have some of that CEO mindset, where you go, this is where I'm spending my time, and this isn't actually creating sales, or this is taking energy that I need to put someplace else. So if you can get really real with yourself, what is your day like? You can even start with today, right? What are you spending your day on? What are you spending your week on? And if you're putting a lot of time and energy into things like social media, right? We talked about this last week in my marketing workshop, which, if you missed it, it was a live event, but I have a limited time replay up now. It'll be available for just 2 weeks, meaning you can buy it for like 2 weeks. Maybe it's like 16 days from right now, but you can only watch it for 2 weeks and then it's going away. Okay. So once you buy, you got 2 weeks to watch. And that's because I don't want you to just get a course that sits on a dashboard. If you want to do the marketing workshop, you got to do it. All right. So that's how it works. You missed it live. You got 2 weeks to do the replay. If you signed up live, though, you get the replay till like end of January. Okay. So don't worry. If you signed up live, you still have that replay. But where is your time and attention being spent is one of the first things we talked about in that workshop. And if you're spending a lot of time on social media and you're feeling burnt out and your sales are not where you want them to be, I want to suggest you make a shift, right? And that's what we talked about in the marketing workshop. But if you're focused on what the next hot item is, it's an emergency to put out that fire, it makes it really, really hard to be intentional about your time, attention, and your energy. So can you do fewer things would be my next question. All right. So where's your attention going? But then can you do less? Oh, so many of you might have a knee-jerk reaction of like, what? Of course not. I'm already, right? I'm doing everything I have to do. But so often we are doing something we think we have to do, or someone else might want us to do, but it's not a necessity. It's not appreciated, and it doesn't move the needle for us, either in our business or in our life. So can you do a smaller number of things? And when doing a smaller number of things, will that allow you to do those things better? It's not a badge of honor to be like, I am the one who does everything. I have a little note here on my desk. It doesn't do you any good to be a party of one. It's actually on my windowsill, but because it is tempting. It is the default, right? I know I can count on me. Well, I know it'll get done because I'm going to do it. But it doesn't really serve us. So can you do fewer things? And in doing so, maybe do those things better. And if you don't have to do it, who else can do it for you? As you're easing into the year, easing into 2025, if you can have that zoom out perspective, what do I want from 2025? What is my goal this year? What is it that I feel like would make me feel more accomplished, more successful? What would make the business have a better brand position in the community, or be the easier choice for my ideal customers versus the competition down the street or across town? As you think about that real, I'm just going to call it the realness of your business, because there's smoke and mirrors around our business, right? The social media stuff, the people pretending they like this Pantone color of the year. I'm sorry, I don't believe you guys. I think you're pretending. I don't like it. But anyway, I digress. All of that stuff, right? It takes time, it takes attention. But how do you really get focused on what's going to move your business forward? You know, making content around Pantone's color of the year might not actually be for you, right? It might not actually be what your ideal customer wants. So, how can you stop with the smoke and mirrors of like, you know, here's what's trending and I know, right? Wink, wink, I'm in, I know. Instead of that, how do you just speak a little more authentically? How do you show up in a way that's steering people towards what you want them to do, buy from your company, and not just, do something that is current this week, but doesn't have longevity for you and your brand position. Okay. So, what do you want to improve? Stop with the smoke and mirrors and really focus on the realness. Okay. Don't use false metrics, false proxies. And then what steps are you going to take to level up next year? So I told you I wasn't going to make this into like we're going to cross the finish line, right? I want you to cross the finish line with your feet bleeding. No, that's really not my style. So how do you ease into the new year, even if you're feeling a little anxious, if you don't want to add stress to your plate? I don't want to add stress to your plate, but I do want you to think about what steps you're going to take in the new year to level up if there's anything at all that you want to improve about your business or your life. They're not separate, even though they are, right? They should be very separate. But so many of us love our work so much. It is so much of our identity as well. But we do have two different tracks going, right? We got what's happening in your personal life and what's happening with your business. And maybe there's some overlap, but we want them to diverge. Okay. We can't be in lockstep. Our personality and our business is 100. Okay. But what are the things that need to improve on either side or both sides so that you are feeling more successful in the new year? So for me, one of the things is really managing how much I am letting outside content mess with me, for lack of any more eloquent way of saying it. Whether that's news or other social media things, really being judicious about allowing myself to react to it, right? Like, this is meant to get a reaction. I don't need to partake in it, right? So that's one way I'm preserving my energy. But what I do, because I am a florist too, right? I do weddings, I work from home. My sales were down this year, just like many of you. And my bookings for next year, I would love to book a few more. And I'm not too shy to say that, right? I would really like to. So I don't come here to like pretend to you guys like everything's great. And all you need to do is like send out a few great social media posts and your business is going to be jamming. Nope, that's not how this works. Time is the unseen driver of everything that's about to happen in 2025. Will we have a whole bunch of newly engaged couples contacting us in the next few weeks? I sure hope so. I'm planning on it. I'm hoping for you, right? Will you take the initiative to make a phone call, make a connection because you've defined a clear goal of what you want to do? Or will you just hide behind your computer and send an email to somebody? So these are decisions and choices that we need to make based on where we want to end up. What you don't want to do is just be in the flow, in the stream. Seems like you do. Because again, social media tricks us into thinking we want to do what everybody else is doing. But that is not marketing. That is not branding. Marketing and branding are meant to help your business stand out, not blend in. So yeah, you want to go with the flow sometimes. And then sometimes you need to not be in the flow. You need to be in creating your own stream, perhaps, or just go in your own way. And whoever wants to follow you is who you are looking to serve. But you're not looking to convince the rest of the stream that they're your customer. Okay. So all this to say, we need to be focused on what matters to us, business and personal, What is the thing that we think we're falling short on? Is it even true? Gonna get a little woo-woo on you here, but we tell ourselves these stories, right? I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Oh, yes, I did do that wonderful thing this year, but remember this other person wasn't happy with their fill in the blank, right? So as you're moving through life, moving through business, it's easy to miss the thing that you're awesome at because you're telling yourself this story about how this other person wasn't so happy. Meanwhile, you've got a long line of people thrilled, and you have this one thing derailing you. So, mindset, just to go back to where this started with are you in your CEO era, right? Mindset is so important in your business. If you think you're the only person who can open that flower box, if you think you're the only person who can, do what you need to do for your business, sometimes that's true. I'm still mostly a one-woman show here with very few exceptions. You just have to be managing your energy even more because you can't delegate, at least not as easily. So this is important whether you have a team or you work alone. You have to have a CEO mindset that understands the truth about what's happening in your business. Are you profitable? Maybe sales are up, but your expenses are up too. So are you profitable? Maybe sales are down, but your profits are up. So this is where we want to not get derailed by things that aren't even real. Like, oh, my sales are down. It was a terrible year. If your profits are actually up, okay? Maybe the overall profits are down, but the margin is up. So there's still, again, something there to work with. It's better than the other way, right? It's better than they're down and the profits are down. So I just want you to think about how you're going to zoom out, what steps you're going to follow. And this is the way that I keep my mind in the game because it's easy to want to check out. Again, especially if you work alone, there is no one saying, hey, did you do your work today? Hey, what is your work today? Right? Some people don't even know what they're supposed to be doing in their business day to day. And I'm not judging. I've been there, right? I'm not sure what to do today. I think I'm going to clean the kitchen, right? Because I work from home. It takes practice, time, and mindset to ignore those dishes in the kitchen and to just do your work and to know what's on your agenda every day. Okay. So, one of the things I do every single year to start out my new year is I teach a course called The Art of Good Business. And this is a 4-week group coaching program, essentially. You can do the content on your own, but then I'm there to walk through each week's content. And part of the reason I do this is because it's a great course and I love it. And I love to talk about the mindset and actually like how we make the website better, how we actually make your marketing better, who your ideal customers are, how you stand out. I love all of that. And I love teaching it and I love talking about it. But I also know from my own experience that it's important that I do this work every year. So even if I didn't teach this course, it's what I would be doing. The steps I teach in the course are what I would be doing in January anyway by myself. So I invite people to join me to do it. And the truth be told, I usually, because I'm a goody two shoes, I like to go through the entire course before I teach it so that I'm like a step ahead of y'all when I'm teaching it. But by the end of this month, I'm going to have some newer, fresher perspective on things that I am working on in my business. So one of the things that I know is going to be impactful for me is like a little key got unlocked for me because I have like 2 sides of my business. I sell weddings and I sell programs and coaching to floral designers who want to be profitable. And I always think of them as 2 different things. That one over there. Some folks like to go over here and some folks like to go over here, right? They're 2 different things, but they're not. They're all me and they're under one umbrella where it's one LLC. And I hadn't been strategizing from that point of view. It's been 10 years that I've been teaching flower math and doing courses and coaching, sometimes it takes us a while. Whether you're new or you've been in business a while, these things take practice. So I share that, personally with you to just let you know, like, there's no such thing as just one and done when it comes to leveling up your brand, getting in touch with your ideal customers, and feeling like you have a path to follow while you're working in your business. There is no one who's going to make you go to work today if you work by yourself. If you go to the shop, maybe you have somebody who will, hold you accountable and say, "Hey, here's what you got to do today." But most likely you could put yourself in your office and nobody's going to know what you're doing in there. I'm working on the books. I'm working on the books. You could be doing anything. So the most important thing is that you know where you want to go, what you want out of this business, what you want out of your life, what might need to change. And if you need some help in following my proven steps, I am here to help you. We talk about your unique brand strategy, your unique brand qualities in week 1. We talk about your ideal customers. We talk about how to make your website great, because so many florists know in their hearts, their souls, their toes, their website's out of date. The website needs to be done. Oh, I know I need to do it. I know I need to do it. But there's no date on the calendar. There's no money to hire a web designer, right? So it doesn't get done. We do it in January. Your website will be better in January if you want to join me in the Art of Good Business. And we talk about how to make your customers so happy, because part of what makes things feel a little bumpy or rocky in our business is a lack of systems. It's a lack of processes. I will tell you, so often when I talk to somebody who goes, "I was just ghosted. This client just ghosted me. I keep getting ghosted." Almost every time that I talk to somebody who says that, they have no follow-up process. They never followed up with the client. In fact, they themselves have ghosted their client because they sent something out. They don't know if the client got it or not. And now they're like, "Oh, I can't believe that client just blew me off." Meanwhile, that client might not have seen your email. They might be wondering why you blew them off. Okay. So that's why we want a really stellar client communication process, systems that lead the clients to a yes. We don't just throw out an email willy-nilly and go, "Oh, never heard back. Woe is me. Poor me. I worked so hard and I get so disrespected." Right. But meanwhile, I don't have processes. Easy to do. And in our final week of the Art of Good Business, what we really talk about is how you stand out above the competition. Because if we're always looking at the competition, every year is a long, hard year. Okay. This year's been a little bit of a longer, harder year for some people, but not every year is like that. And every year shouldn't be like that. But if you are constantly comparing yourself to others, if they are like doing this amazing thing, "Oh my God, look at that amazing project they're doing. Look at that team they have. Look at all of that they're doing. Wow." And you're jealous, you're envious. But meanwhile, you don't even want to do that work. Right? You don't want that work. You don't have that team. That's not even on your wish list. But you're feeling envious. Get your head in the game. What do you want to do? Because when I'm really focused, clear what I want and where I'm going, I don't go, "Can you believe how many people are working with this person or that person?" Because that's none of my business. Also, I don't want their customers. I want my customers. Okay. So that's what I want to just leave you with today. Just eyes on your own paper. You've heard this since elementary school, right? Keep your eyes on your own paper. Now, does that mean ignore your competition altogether? No, it doesn't. You can't just pretend your competition isn't there at all. However, what you can do is you can be so focused on yourself, so focused on your ideal customer. As I like to say, getting obsessed, totally obsessed with your ideal customer. When your attention is there, which is what we do in January inside the Art of Good Business, if you want to learn more about it by any chance, just head to my website at realflowerbusiness.com and you'll see a link there to learn more. When we are in the Art of Good Business, we get so focused on what we want to do and who we want to serve that it bolsters you. It gives you the clarity and the understanding of like, hey, here's where I fit in. Once you know where you fit in your own market, in your own brand strategy, it is so much easier to go, hey, good for them. Wow, that is impressive. Whew, that's a big team. That's a big job. Glad it wasn't me, right? That's not what I do. And just be glad that there's someone who's willing to do that because you didn't have to do it. Okay. So I hope that this is even just the teensiest bit helpful. All right. If you have one takeaway about easing into the new year, I hope it will be something around how you keep your energy in a way that is focused and that you can get the most out of your efforts. What we want to do is we want to focus our efforts on things that actually give us leverage, that move the needle in our business. We don't want to have a perfectly curated, Instagram feed if our customers aren't coming from Instagram. What we do want to do is we want to make real life connections with our customers, with our peers, and we want to be super duper focused on the people we serve and serving them well. Then we want to go from serving them well to just absolutely knocking their socks off. Okay. Every time they work with us, they just can't believe how great it was. And then we want to set the bar even higher. So, what is it you need to do to level up next year? And if you need any help, please let me know. Like I said, you can head to realflowerbusiness.com if this happens to be your first time watching me. Thank you for being here and welcome. And what you can do is head to realflowerbusiness.com to see everything I offer, or even book a one-on-one coaching call to talk about your specific business. But the Art of Good Business in January is where we're going to dig into 4 weeks of focused content that actually moves your business forward on a path to get you where you want to go. We don't want to just end up where we end up, wherever the stream might take us, okay? We want to be in control of where we're going. And it starts by getting some clarity now before you even head into the new year, okay? Keep doing beautiful work. Keep being awesome in your business. Thank you so much for making the time to tune in and be here live with me. And if you're watching in a replay, thank you for making time to do that, because I know it's not easy to make time for anything. You used one of your Energon cubes on me, and I appreciate it. I hope that this talk helped you maybe put a little Energon cube back into you. Okay. Hope I can pour it back into you. If you have questions for me, let me know. Keep doing beautiful work. Have a great rest of your year. And cheers to a bright and jolly new year. Okay. Bye, everybody. Keep doing beautiful work. I'm following you on Instagram. I'm liking your posts. Bye.